Well, hello all. Here we have a circuit board used to find internal resistance, or R, of this battery. What we're going to do is we're going to press this little switch on 23 ohm resistor inside a circuit, 23 ohm, then 16 ohm, then 0 ohm, and then 40 ohms. And then we're going to take our measurement of the voltmeter and the ammeter readings. So let's first do it on 23 ohms. Let's push it down. "23 ohms. Now have a look. This is on the 500 milliamp scale. That is the top scale. This is reading the ammeter reading. See, it's got a big A on that instrument. Do you see 300? It's between 300 and 400 milliamps. Now you've got to read that. Between 300 and 400 milliamps. Now, watch the voltmeter. Watch the voltmeter. We are measuring it on 15 volts. That's the top scale. It's between 5 and 10. Read that voltage. Okay, read it now. We have a circuit. There's the voltage. Okay, when we press it. So that was for 23 ohm resistor. Now we're going to move it to where it says 16, and we're going to do the same for 16 ohm resistor. So I'm going to press down the 16 ohm. Watch what happens to the ammeter. Do you see that it seems to have gone a bit higher? So there's your ammeter reading. You can always pause YouTube and look at it. It was nearly up to 400 milliamps. Watch what happens when we press our voltmeter. It's between 5 and 10 on the top scale. That is the voltage you must read. And that was with your 16 resistor. Now we're going to skip across to 40 ohms. See? 40. And let's see, when I press it, what happens to the ammeter. 40. Look, it's somewhere between 100 and 200 milliamps. Look on the top scale of this ammeter. Now watch what happens to our voltmeter when we press it. Do you see how it comes down? It's somewhere between 5 and 10. You've got to take that reading. This is for your 40 ohm resistor. Okay, now watch what I'm going to do. If I try to measure 0 resistance, watch what happens to the ammeter. Do you see how the ammeter just flicks right all the way across? That's bad for the ammeter. So we're going to swap this.
Could the grade 12 please take out their lunch now and eat their food quickly and sanitize your hands? And will the break duty staff please go out for duty? Thank you.
So now I've put it onto the 5 amp reading, which is bigger than 500 milliamps. So now we're reading on the bottom scale of our ammeter for the 0 external resistance. Okay, 0 external resistance. Look what it is in amps. No, it's between 1 and 2 amps. We don't want to hold it there too long because that's going to flatten the battery. Watch again. Always try and take your first reading because it tends to drop. Okay, now watch what happens when we've got 0 resistance to our voltmeter. Look how the voltage drops almost back to naught. Just watch again. Take that lower reading. We're reading it still on the top scale. It's close to naught, but it's less than 5. So there you've now got all your readings that you need for your to work out the internal resistance of this battery. I want to add that if this was a lead acid battery or a lithium ion battery, I would not want a zero resistance, otherwise known as a short circuit, because if you short circuit it, you are going to see sparks. So I know for this battery it's safe to have a 0 ohm resistor, but don't do that for these batteries that can really pump out a current and have got almost no internal resistance. So there you've got the data for this experiment.